get worse. Craig Ralston had eaten a lot of meals in her kitchen, hanging out with Jimmy. The fall of 1969, their senior year, she would feed the band after they practiced in Mr. Brand's garage. Edgar Brand told the kids he'd park his Chevy pickup, the one he drove to his job at Union Pacific, on the driveway. "My beautiful vehicle will be out in the weather, boys, for the sake of the musical arts." The driveways up and down the street were 2 strips of poured concrete with a run of grass between them. In those days, Craig could see Mr. Brand in the living room reading the paper and watching television, while he and Jimmy and Mason and Frank ate hamburger steaks and sliced tomatoes and huge chunks of steaming squash covered with salt and pepper and melting butter. They had been life on Earth, classic rock and roll, and they had lasted 1 year until graduation, when they flew apart like leaves in the wind. Craig Ralston went into the Army in Vietnam with 24 other kids from that class of Oakpine, and Mason went up to Minnesota for college, and Frank had spent a year at school in Laramie before returning and managing the Sears outlet downtown, and then buying the building. Jimmy Brand disappeared. Craig and Mason were home one Christmas, and Mason had gotten a card. Jimmy was out in the world, having left Wyoming for good. Until now. Mrs. Brand backed away from the building as if realizing its size and the dirty windows had defeated her. She was wearing a faded blue plaid apron. Craig noted it as something he'd known from the past, and he saw that she was going to put her hands in it and give up. "I'm glad you called," Craig told her. "You caught me daydreaming at the store." "No, you weren't. Your father ran a goods store, and so do you." "It looks like we'll survive until they put in a Walmart, so that's something. I finished that house, you know, Marcy's dream house on the hill, our dream house. I'm one of those characters who lives on the hill. You'll have to come by." "Remember when that hill was the wilderness? I think the boys used to hunt right there. I can see the lights some nights," Mrs. Brand said. "This town is changing, but you're not one of the guys who live on the hill. They're all from California, aren't they?" "Or Idaho. I'm glad Jimmy's coming back. He got out and did something. Those books. He's the only guy from Oakpine to write a book." "Is Marcy at the museum?" "She is. She's doing what she wants now. Larry's a senior. You'll see him." "My God," she said. "Those babies." She stood stiffly, having said all that she could manage, and she looked past Craig at the impossible garage, her eyes heavy now and laden with sadness and the weariness of all time and time's sadness. "Mrs. Brand," Craig started, "we all go way back. And Marcy and I have that big house, and with Jimmy coming—" "Don't, Craig," the woman said. She put her hand on his forearm. "We have to do it this way." She was looking at his face now. "Just tell me what we need, Mrs. Brand. I'll get Larry, and we'll get this done for you." A week later, Larry Ralston came walking up the smooth driveway of the new house on the Scrub Oak Hill, the house they'd just moved into last spring, taking those long, rolling strides he took after a run, his hands on his hips, each breath 3 gallons of September, still a touch of summer in it, and he was smiling and shaking his head happy. He and his father had poured the cement for this concrete surface 6 weeks ago, and now he walked in a circle on the ramp. "I ran around the town," he said. Larry Ralston was 17, and he'd been talking to himself for 2 or 3 months. "That town is captured in its entirety." He turned in the new night and looked out over the dark world and the small pool of the sparkling network of lights of the town, and the knotted cluster of downtown Oakpine and the white halogen slash of the railroad, and beyond the dark pool to the colored lights in a distant grid, red and red, at the airport. It was the first time he'd run around the town,